We begin this Sunday morning with a look at the future, with optimism surging across the country after President-elect Donald Trump's resounding win this week, winning the Electoral College as well as the popular vote in election 2024, and leading Republicans to a majority in the Senate and wins in the House of Representatives. Now the attention turns to the agenda and what gets done in the first 100 days and the upcoming 4 years. Key to that is who is leading the Senate, with Senate Republicans getting set to vote this upcoming Wednesday behind closed doors for their majority leader, with a horse race currently underway. Texas Senator John Cornyn, South Dakota Senator John Thune, and Florida Senator Rick Scott all vying for the job as they look to replace Kentucky's Mitch McConnell, who has served as GOP leader since 2007. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joined me this week on Mornings with Maria to weigh in.
I'm a big supporter of Rick Scott's, extraordinary individual, highly successful in business. Ran a company that employed, the 8th largest employer in America. Highly successful governor in Florida. Been a real colleague of mine in the Senate. He's serious. I think President Trump hopefully will endorse Rick, want to work with Rick, because President Trump wants to do big things. We need bold leadership in the Senate, and Rick Scott can provide that leadership.
And since then, Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul have also said this weekend they, too, will be voting for Rick Scott this Wednesday. Joining me now with more on his bid to replace McConnell, a Senate Republican leader, is the man himself, Florida Senator Rick Scott. Senator, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Maria, Tuesday night was so exciting. I was at a dinner last night and everybody came up to me. They were so excited. They said they really, really believe we're going to get our country back. Florida, we won Miami-Dade. We won, we won by, in my case, we won by 1.4 million votes. Trump won by 4 million votes. We had a great night. Now, how do we get Trump's agenda done? How do we get his nominees done? How do we codify his executive orders? That's what's up for this leadership race right now. So I'm running to change. We've got to have a big change. We got almost $36 trillion worth of debt, 100,000 people dying of fentanyl or drug overdoses, open border, work military. We have got to change the way the Senate is run to get Trump's agenda done.
Okay, so this next couple of days are critical for you. I know RFK Jr. also supporting you, along with those senators that we just mentioned. But let's talk about the Senate and what's going to happen on Tuesday night. You will be able to make your case in front of the membership to get this job, and again on Wednesday, right before the vote. Make your case this morning why you believe you should be the majority leader.
Well, as I've talked to first off, Washington ought to represent the Republican voters around the country. We have a mandate for change. So number one is who is going to represent all the Republican voters. I ran 2 years ago because I knew we needed to make a change in the Senate. I've talked to my colleagues. I think everybody realizes we need to make a change. So the question is going to be who is going to make sure we get these things done. I'm a business guy, as Ron Johnson said. I built businesses all my life, and here's the process you go through. You say, what is my agenda? How do you build a team? How do you create a plan? You measure the living daylights out of it to get things done. We can balance the budget. We can build a better military. We can make sure that we secure this border. We can make sure we stop all these drugs from coming in, and so many of our family and friends dying of drug overdose. All these things are doing. We can protect Medicare. We can protect Social Security. Every one of those things is doable. I did it in my business life. I built the largest hospital company. I built a variety of manufacturing companies. I ran the state of Florida. We turned it around because we did it together. What it's going to take is somebody who's going to take the time to sit down and bring people together. We've got to get, for a lot of things, 60 votes in the Senate. So we've got to have somebody that's going to sit down with Democrats and say, how do we balance a budget? How do we do these things?
Okay.
That's all I've done. I'm a deal guy. That's what I did all my life. I build companies by putting companies together. So you got to find common ground. You got to talk to everybody.
How are you different than John Thune? How are you different than John Cornyn?
Well, both of my colleagues have been there for a long time, and so they've got a lot of experience in the Senate. In my case, I bring a business background. I know that I know that, to get things done, you have to say, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, what do we have to do differently? We can't keep doing what we're doing. We have to be the change. That's what Donald Trump got elected to do, to be the change. That's what business guys do. I had to do it when I became governor of Florida. And we were losing people. We were losing jobs when I became governor. We had lost 800,000 jobs. In my 8 years, we added 1.7 million jobs. We balanced a budget every year. Florida had not balanced its budget but once in 40 years. So all these things are doable, but it's going to take somebody that is a deal doer, knows how to sit down with people and find common ground. I built a great working relationship with Mike Johnson.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Do you believe John Thune and John Cornyn will bring to the floor the pieces of legislation that the ideas that President Trump wants to get executed? I mean, I know that there were issues around Mitch McConnell. He would not even bring certain issues to the floor because he was against them. I want to know how likely it is that Trump's agenda can get through, either with you, John Thune, or John Cornyn. Tell me that.
So number one, you're going to have to make sure you get his nominees done. So that means you're going to have a plan to get those done. Number two, to get the legislation done, and it's not just bring it to the floor. You've got to figure out how you bring people together to get it done. That means you're going to have to sit down with people and understand their agenda. So that's what I've done my whole life. I've probably, done 500 economic deals in my life. That's what I've done. I've brought people together. I found common ground. And that's what, whoever the leader is going to be, to get Trump's agendas done, his agenda done, you're going to have to bring everybody together to get that done and have a plan. So have a plan to get the nominees done. Have a plan, get the budget done. We don't need any more of these omnibus bills that have massive spending and no accountability. We need to make sure we hold the federal government accountable. So we're going to have somebody that cares about looking at how is the FBI operating? How is Homeland Security operating? So are they doing the right things?
Yep.
So you've got to have somebody that's willing to go do all those things, and I'm clearly willing to do that.
Let me get your take on the one or two most important things that he will need 60 votes for, because I've got at least 4 core policy priorities for this incoming administration, 3 of which can be done largely without Congress, right? You've got deregulation, that can be done without Congress. Renegotiate trade deals under threat, imposition of tariffs, that can be done. Largest deportation effort in U.S. history, and of course, extending the tax cuts through reconciliation. What specifically will he need with 60 votes, aside from the nominees?
Well, the tax cuts, it's going to take, if we should be able to do that through reconciliation, all right? But a lot of the others, like the tariffs, that most likely is going to require 60, unless there's some way we can get that done through reconciliation with 51. But most likely, you're going to have to sit down with people and explain to them the workers in their state are better off if we hold China accountable. China is doing everything they can to harm our way of life. So you got to get everybody together. Now, I think the Trump mandate is going to help us wake people up, that if Democrats want to win elections, they're going to have to start responding to the needs of the average person. That's what the Republican Party, we represent the workers. Kids like me growing up living in public housing, that's who we represent now.
All right, we will leave it there. Senator, you've made your case to the American people. We'll be watching your work Tuesday night and Wednesday morning when you make the case to your fellow members in the Senate. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day, Maria.
And to you, Florida Senator Rick Scott, thank you. And now this.